With the help of all of you and many others, we're getting incredible things done. So I want to invite our exceptional board chair, Michael Nathanson, to come up and tell you a little bit more about the work that we have afoot. Please welcome Michael Nathanson.
Thank you, Sarah. And I'm glad that you did read our mission statement. You could sort of summarize it by the words right up here. And that really is what we're all about. What we're all about is understanding our unique responsibility to all of you, to the brain tumor community. The themes for tonight will largely revolve around a few common concepts. One is that we are the largest brain tumor nonprofit in the country, probably the world. We actually don't have a whole lot of great information about that, but probably the entire world. And with that comes, we understand, great responsibility, a great obligation. We know how many people are counting on us to do exactly that, to transform tomorrow today. That is what guides us in everything that we do. And I hope that as I make this presentation to all of you, you'll think about that. You'll think about, are we taking that seriously? Are we furthering our mission? Everything we do directed at exactly that. So I hope that you'll think about that as I make this presentation. Before I do that, I do want to thank Clifton, and I think we owe him another round of applause. That was an excellent presentation. I want to echo everything that Sarah said and formally welcome you to our annual meeting and the 2014 National Brain Tumor Society Summit, which goes on for several days. We're so pleased to have all of you here with us tonight, and we're grateful for your dedication to our shared cause and for your invaluable support. You are our team. We think of all of you as part of our society, part of our community. We understand how invaluable you all are, and we'll never take that for granted. Look around the room. Look at the people next to you. You'll see brain tumor patients, survivors, caregivers, families, friends. You'll see donors and advocates, volunteers, neuro-oncologists, researchers, executives from biotechnology and pharmaceutical companies, representatives from government agencies, and our friends from other brain tumor and cancer nonprofits. You'll see an entire community of which you are each a member. And that brings me to the second theme that you will see over and over as I make this presentation, which is that in addition to being the largest brain tumor nonprofit in the country and having all the responsibilities that go with that, we are also the most collaborative organization you can possibly imagine. Those of you who have worked with us undoubtedly know that. Those of you who have not yet worked with us, I welcome you to experience what we all experience on a daily basis. See the power of collaboration. See what happens when we all work together and the impact that we can all have together. I can't overstate how important these themes are. As you heard from Clifton, having everyone who plays a role in disease research and drug development in the same room is essential in setting the stage for progress and ultimately success today. We are up against one of the most challenging problems there is. And the unfortunate fact is that translating research into clinical success that improves patients' lives has been troublingly slow. Let's not hide from that fact. The system that governs brain tumor and cancer research and development, sometimes known as the drug discovery and development pipeline, is simply too long, too expensive, far too complicated, and too rife for failure. To Together, right now, we must resolve to overcome these obstacles. It is our responsibility, the largest brain tumor nonprofit in the country, whose only goal is to improve the lives of patients, to push the system's change, another key theme for tonight, agenda. We must, as Clifton might say, focus on what is holding back very committed people from doing what they want to do. Some of our efforts will require funded research programs. Some will require new public policy solutions. Many will need to combine tactics. All, however, will require bringing the right people together, the best people together, the people who can make a difference, not individually, but collectively, collaboratively. Again, that theme of collaboration. The overall goal must be to optimize the entire brain tumor research and development system, to make a more conducive environment for scientists working in labs to collaborate and share. You'll hear more about that, more specifics about that. To move discoveries to industry so they can more efficiently finish the preclinical work and take promising potential treatments to clinical trials earlier, to provide companies with better ways to speed approval for brain tumor drugs. This will save money, time, most importantly, you know what I'm going to say, this will save lives. We're moving full steam ahead with this effort. At last year's meeting, Dr. Webb Cavanagh talked about our Defeat GBM Research Collaborative. I just left that meeting. Such an impressive group of people. This program is now in full swing, transferring the basic and translational phases of brain tumor research. The program connects leading scientists from the top institutions across the country in a deeply funded effort, in large part because of the National Brain Tumor Society and all of your support, where research teams tackle multiple projects simultaneously, speeding the pace of early and middle stage discovery and development. As Dr. Cavanagh noted, this is really a paradigm-shifting program, a true act of organizational leadership. No longer are we operating in what an article in the journal Nature once called the fund and forget model of grant making. Our Chief Research Officer, Carrie Treadwell, is serving as Defeat GBM's Managing Director, helping to guide the entire effort. And we're happy to report that we've already seen tremendous collaboration within the project teams. In bi-monthly conference calls with lead investigators, they've listened intently to one another's projects. I just observed that again. Offered advice and suggestions, and brainstormed ways to make the overall program better. We feel more confident than ever that this initiative will reach its goal of doubling the 5-year survival rate for GBM patients. Very ambitious goal, and one we are fully capable of achieving together. And the word is spreading. One of the most exciting things about it. Recently, we've received multiple inquiries from international research labs, as well as directly from pharmaceutical companies who want to join us. Our Strategic Scientific Advisory Council for Defeat GBM is now reviewing proposals from these potential additional collaborators. Some of these advisors are on hand tonight, along with the investigators leading research project teams. I'd like to pause here for a moment to recognize them and all the innovative, hard work they are doing to tackle this awful and quite difficult disease. A round of applause, please, for all those involved in the GBM, Defeat GBM. On behalf of the entire organization, I would also like to give a special acknowledgement to the man who serves as the scientific director of Defeat GBM, Dr. Al Young of MD Anderson Cancer Center. Dr. Young is one of our longest tenured and most trusted advisors. We talk a great deal about dedication, and this man personifies it. There are hardly any initiatives at the National Brain Tumor Society in which Dr. Young doesn't have some level of involvement. I go to him all the time. And despite serving as a strategic advisor to our organization as a whole, now many of our individual programs as well, Dr. Young still manages to, well, let's see patients on a regular basis, routinely ranked as one of the best doctors in America every year since 1992. Teach classes to educate the next generation of leading brain tumor specialists. Serve on the advisory and review boards of many other distinguished organizations in the field. And lead MD Anderson's world-renowned brain tumor research program. We're so lucky and grateful to have him, as is the community. He's such a wonderful man. Continuing on, our clinical trial endpoints initiative began this year by focus on creating a more favorable clinical trial environment for brain tumor drugs. After our first meeting with the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, we formed a coalition of brain tumor organizations, again, that spirit of collaboration, to build consensus in the neuro-oncology community to initiate more widespread use of acceptable alternative endpoints in brain tumor clinical trials. The new Jumpstarting Brain Tumor Drug Development Coalition consists of the National Brain Tumor Society, Accelerate Brain Cancer Cure, the Masella Foundation for Brain Tumor Research and Information, and the Society for Neuro-Oncology. Together, we were able to take the FDA up on their offer to determine what would be needed to advance the use of alternative endpoints and ultimately make better regulatory paths available to those trying to develop new treatments for patients. A great frustration in the entire development process. The coalition's successful first workshop focused on imaging-related endpoints and resulted in a number of action items to get imaging data to be more reliable. Overall response rate and time to progression endpoints could be used to gain accelerated approval of potential new treatments in clinical trials, meaning the trials would become shorter, require less patients, and cost less money. This will put new treatments on the market while encouraging more biopharmaceutical companies to see the value in brain tumor drug development, having tremendous impact to patients. As this work continues, we are gearing up to host our second brain tumor clinical trial endpoints workshop with the coalition and the FDA later this month. This workshop will focus on clinical outcome assessments. These include symptom measures and patient-related outcomes. We're looking for ways to include endpoints in brain tumor clinical trials that measure what's called the net clinical benefit a patient receives from a potential new treatment. This is important because though some potential treatments may not elicit a strong enough response for approval using traditional endpoints alone, if the therapy still delivers other clinical benefits to patients, it could still be worthy of approval and not be abandoned or rejected. As part of the pre-work for this second workshop, we wanted to make sure the voices of brain tumor patients and caregivers were fully taken into account regarding what clinical benefit means to them, what type of symptoms or side effects of the tumor concern them the most, and what they would like to see in the future of brain tumor drug development. The response we got was nothing less than overwhelming. We nearly quadrupled our target for completed surveys, underscoring the importance of this work, not just to us, but to the entire community. Taken together, these workshops will bring greater clarity to clinical trial sponsors and encourage more biopharmaceutical companies to invest in brain tumor drug development. We are indebted to the dozens of research and industry professionals, led by Dr. Patrick Wendt and Dr. Terry Armstrong, that have given countless hours of their time to push this incredible work forward. Another area where patients desperately need new treatments and approaches to getting treatments is, of course, pediatrics. As many of you know, maybe many of you don't know, brain tumors are the second most common form of childhood cancer and the leading cause of cancer-related death in children under 10. A lot of people don't know that. It's such a significant statistic. Unlike many other prevalent childhood cancers, our field has seen little progress in the last 30 years in terms of treatments that are both safe and effective for the developing brains of children. This is a travesty. Currently, we are in the final year of our developmental neurobiology grant and innovation grant programs. The research currently being funded in collaboration with the Brain Tumor Foundation of Canada is looking at how a tumor forms and affects the developing brain of a child, and how potential treatments also may harm this developmental process. Knowing this information will help future pediatric drug development efforts create ways of treating these children that are both safe and effective. Dr. Scafidi, Weschler-Raya, Joyner, Gutman are doing outstanding work as part of these grants, and certainly also deserve a round of applause. But I'm not done. We also took a major step this year to address two of the biggest interrelated barriers to pediatric brain tumor research and cancer drug development. We brought together different groups who often don't collaborate and got them to talk candidly about the issues that are affecting their ability to make more progress developing new treatments. Pharmaceutical and biotech companies, researchers, and government each openly shared their unique concerns, challenges, and perspectives. Collectively, it was determined that impediments to developing new treatments exist well beyond the underlying biology, which can be boiled down really to two major issues. Number one, current preclinical drug testing models are often inadequate or below the standards of the biopharmaceutical industry, which means that companies often don't fully trust the research coming out of the lab. And number two, the environment for pediatric cancer clinical trials is very complex, and different regulations exist from country to country, creating delays and disincentives to drug development, since many biopharmaceutical companies want to be able to market their products globally, of course. On the preclinical research side, having a small number of patients who are spread out across the country means the many pieces of data needed to create an effective preclinical research platform exist in small clusters at many different medical and research institutions here and throughout the world. Project Impact's goal is to improve the effectiveness of preclinical drug testing models with cutting-edge science and a renewed focus on coordination between scientists and research sites around the globe. We will work with all the groups involved to identify ways to de-risk the clinical trial environment in pediatric cancer. Currently, the group leading the clinical track of this project is developing a set of policy solutions to regulatory issues, while working with groups from a cross-section of biopharmaceutical industry representatives, medical academic researchers, clinicians, and government agencies. We hope this effort will show the entire pediatric cancer community how a better system to test, develop, and evaluate therapies for children with cancer is indeed possible. The next important initiative to mention is in the fight against oligodendroglioma, a relatively rare form of brain cancer that is not yet as well studied or understood as other gliomas. Last year, we announced the first set of grants in our Oligodendroglioma Research Fund to two researchers whose projects we believe can really help in this area. Those two grants went to Drs. David Lewis and Dr. Anders Persson. Dr. Lewis and his team will seek to identify the elements that drive and contribute to the growth of oligotumors using next-generation sequencing tools and techniques. Meanwhile, Dr. Persson is developing predictive models for oligotumors that we hope will not only aid his discovery efforts, but those of Dr. Lewis's team and others, of course, as well. In an exciting upcoming second round of funding, Drs. Robert Jenkins and Daniel LaChance are focused on promising research that will allow oligo drug development efforts to make a big leap toward making the disease manageable. Let's have a round of applause for them and their movement. Our oligo initiative is special in that it is a community-driven effort. It is the first fund born out of our community research fund model, in which groups of like-minded donors can get together and pool all of their money for research focused on a tumor type that has affected them personally. We thank everyone who has made this fund and all this work possible. Before we move on, I'd certainly be remiss if I didn't recognize someone very instrumental in helping guide the organization in becoming a powerful force for change, building key collaborations across industry, academia, and government, and leading research initiatives to solve critical needs that will accelerate progress. Our outgoing CEO, Paul Tontat. Unfortunately, Paul couldn't be here tonight, and for those of you who know him, you know he is probably secretly relieved, as he is never really comfortable being the center of attention. But all of us here at the National Brain Tumor Society and in the brain tumor community owe a debt of gratitude to his drive and dedication over the last 7 years in leading this organization to become what it is today. Tonight, we've talked a lot about system change. And the top two components to creating change are leadership at all levels and inclusion of stakeholders as strategic collaborators and partners. The lesson is, no action is too small. No voice in this room is unimportant. So I urge you, keep talking. Keep listening. Keep speaking up. Keep sharing. Keep working together. Keep giving. Keep taking action. Never, never give up hope. Lead with us. Come with us on this great journey. Together, we will beat this disease. Thanks to all of you for partnering with us in this fight. Thank you.